Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel again. Let me make sure I'm recording. Alright, so hopefully everybody is doing well during this time of just COVID-19. It's really frustrating for most of us, and yeah, hopefully this gets settled very soon. So as promised, I will review my game against basically my game was against his name was, I wasn't sure what his name, but his username is Deodred. So this was the context of this was between the team of Quebec and the team of a region in France. And basically we had this game last week. It was a very great game, and I'm pretty sure my viewers can learn a lot from it. Just aside, the Quebec team lost 3-5, so we will have 8 players versus 8 players, and we lost 5 games. We won 3 games, and therefore the Quebec team lost. But it was just a friendly match, so the result really does not matter. At least does not matter to me. I had a lot of fun playing this game, so why don't we get started? I am playing as black and my opponent is playing as white. So I decided to start with the cross double 3-4, not cross, but like a different orientation double 3-4, and then I played my big knight. So this is has recently become my one of my favorite josekis. This is also what I teach to my students and everything, so really like it. My opponent decides to play very normally, so I secure 2 corners already, and then I play the R11, which is a correct move, right? But also here I could think about potentially play the approach. I can also approach from the inside. I can even go to the 3-3. Those are all good options. So in the beginning, there's many options. There are many options that work. So I decided to approach, not only expand myself, but also putting pressure onto my opponent's 3 stones. These are type of moves that I really like. But my opponent's response was absolutely flawless. I was very shocked at how accurately my opponent played, which is the attach at Q16. So I'm not particularly familiar with this attach, which is why in the game you'll see that it reflects that on the board. So Hane and white, Hane's from the outside. Those are all correct move, and here the correct move is for you to extend at S16. So this is how you're supposed to deal with white's attach. So here I play correctly, and then when white pushes, I decide to play Tiger's Mouth. But here for a little bit educational value, sometimes you would also encounter white just cut you at R17, and he's hoping for you to simply Atari at R18. You should not Atari at R18 because this allows white to get a Sente, and then he can go ahead and start attacking you or stuff like that, and then he's S15 stones really going to help. So to prevent white getting this S15, you would turn here at S15. White really does not have time to try to do anything in the corner right now because at this point, even if white lives inside, right, white can live with one move. Not to say he has to suffer these kind of squeeze, but also what is going on the outside is not acceptable, right? So white's 4 stones are dead, and this is not acceptable. So don't worry when you turn here. This is the correct move, and you should definitely play this one. White's correct move is to jump. White can absolutely not block here because black can cut right away, right? No way to save both of these. So white needs to jump. And here, black has two options. One is to extend out, and and pretty much I think white is going to play out something like this, and yeah, and black can just like connect underneath. This is one of the possible solutions, but also black can consider to go back in Atari at R18 right now. The reason is that white's tiger's mouth is not a sente anymore, right? I can just jump out and still attack white. So that's how you defend against white's cut at R17. I was expecting that cut, but white did not really go for the cut. Instead, white decides to push and then push again. So here I played a move, and that's my first mistake of the game. I decided to play the extension at M15. That's incorrect. According to AI, I should have played M14. This will allow me to put more pressure onto these guys, especially aiming at this cut right now. So if white cuts, I can cut here. So that's just going to be a very, very fierce fight. I should have played like that, but I didn't know that, right? I didn't know the follow-up with these pushes. So instead, I decide to extend an M15 in the game, which turns out to be a mistake. And then white cuts, and then I turn here. Another possible solution is to just Atari at S17 right now, but instead I turned. White hops at R13, and then I go back and capture the stone at R18. That was pretty much forced, and then white attaches at Q11, and then at this point I already felt the game was very difficult, especially my opponent is super strong, and yeah, my original stone, the original purpose of this stone is to attack white, putting pressure, expanding myself, and putting pressure on white. But now white turned all that into his own influence. So the game is already difficult, and my win rate dropped to about 35%, something like that. So yeah, the mistake being the extension at M15. So that one mistake, I dropped my win rate by about 7 to 8%. So I mean, at this level of play, this is definitely considered a mistake. So yeah, so then I realized my position was not that great. I decided to be patient and keep taking territory, right? Regardless what happens here, black secured a lot of territory, so the game can still keep going as long as I have the territory on hand. So I got myself another corner. White plays a big knight. That's an excellent move. And this is definitely the best side to play right now because it's the most empty side. I decide to immediately attack at D12. That's an excellent move, and that's usually the follow-up for this shape. You can remember it. It's AI approved. I learned it mostly from AI and from watching pros games. So this is the accurate attacking position, right? So this is just about the right distance away from white's 3 stones, but also putting a lot of pressure on white. Excellent move. White here decides to kick me, and if you have watched my Joseki series, you know this G18 move. White decides to play out the combination, and then I allow myself to get split into halves. This is totally fine. White connects, and I play out the H16. And I really like my H16 move, and it turns out to be the best move that AI recommends. So I actually also went back to watch Union's review, where she suggested to extend out at B15. And unfortunately, this won't be the best move because white can jump here, not only destroy what I have here, but also these two guys are in a weird spot. So actually turns out my move was great, and I was really happy about this fact. And yeah, I'm very happy about this move overall. It's guarding myself, but also putting pressure on the way. My group is alive, so why do I worry so much about it? I take the stone and I'm alive, and white decides to counterattack me. That's an excellent move. If white just passively defends, that is okay, but that is a little bit too passive. So at high level play, counterattack is very important. So excellent move by white. Peep, and then white connects, and then I played my second mistake. So here, this is a very strange looking move, and it actually is not so great. What I had in mind was very strange, and I don't even know why that came into my mind. I had this G13 in mind, which is the best move, right? A very nice shape that encloses white. Okay, I'll tell you guys what I'm worried about, and then you will find this super weird. I was worried about white playing the Kosumi here. This is a Sente, right? Like, so we can maybe exchange that for you guys to see better. Like, this is, you know, threatening this Ko here. So if I connect, I was worried about white just getting himself back home like this. But honestly, I don't know why. Why would I be worried about this variation? This is very miserable for white. And I was worried about this connection. I wanted the real attack, which is why I played the C11 move, which I later definitely was not so proud of because it's really strange. It doesn't do much. So white took the opportunity to play a few Sentes and then jump out. These are all just why did I open this? These are just fine moves. This is making myself a shape, but also destroying white's shape. That's an okay move. White decides to play E19. If I play anything else, white can squeeze in, and then my corner is going to be dead. So that's a Sente, and then another Sente, obviously, as all my viewers can see. And then white plays G16. That's an excellent move. Otherwise, anywhere else you play, there's already a cutting problem, right? So pretty much G16 is forced, and then I pull myself back because otherwise there's a problem here. Pulled my stone back, and then white decides to finally come back and block this C11. So till here, the game should be fairly equal. The reason being that black has a lot of territory. White obviously has the potential over here, and then also the influence towards the center. But also like this whole chunk that's making a lot of territory right now. So slightly worse for black, but definitely playable. And then my exchange here was just an impulsive move. I should not have played this at all. This lost me a couple percentage as well in terms of win rates, because you don't exchange this. You know, there's no reason for me to exchange this. I can exchange this anytime, right? So, and then I played the bump here. As the reviewer, Yunyan 8 Damn Professional has pointed out, I should have just jumped myself out. I agree with that because yeah, that's just the right direction. I'm hopping into white's influence, but also getting myself out. That's more important. But I was worried about this move. I don't even know why. Like, I was worried about not necessarily what's going to happen here, but just white making a great shape, and it becomes hard for me to attack. But I don't really understand why I played that. Why I was worried about that, I mean. Yeah, maybe sometimes there's too much aggression in my mind that I want to destroy every single ice space that my opponent has. So, I mean, in a game of Go, it's nice to have the idea of a counter attacking, but when you do that too much, it becomes an overplay. So maybe my push here at h15 is an overplay. I checked with an AI. AI says it's okay. That's one of its options, but I think for a human player, I think for a human player, jumping at h12 is definitely more understandable. White will jump, and then probably I will jump as well. So apparently, computer thinks that this is also fine for both sides, but what I played was also fine, except I don't really understand why. When my opponent plays the bump at f13. So at this point, I already felt like the game was very, very difficult. My next move, I played the Tiger's Mouth, but I want to explain a little bit why I played that, because now obviously I want to get out, right? If I just extend myself, I was very worried about this squeeze here. This squeeze is a problematic move for black. If I connect or anything, there's a wedge here, right? So my two stones are cut off. I can't really let that happen. If I fix my basically fix my weakness here, or I just connect, my opponent's gonna Atari here, and there's already a backdoor, right? If I don't respond to this, sorry, there's a Kosumi that gets white out. But if I do something, sure, I cut white off, but now it's white's turn, right? Like, I'm floating in the middle. That's very, very dangerous. I have no eye. So what went through my mind was this Kosumi, but as it turns out, it's the same thing, right? White's still gonna squeeze. I still have the C2, C12 weakness as well as the E12 weakness. If I play like this, still a very, or maybe white can extend first, and then try to attack my group. So, which is why in the real game, I played the Tiger's Mouth. I want to cut the connection between this group and this completely. That was way too aggressive, I think, that idea in my mind. It was just not the right idea. But the move was okay. It ensured me a little bit ice space here. But what is painful is when white plays this honey, right? I'm forced to get out. And here I think white made a mistake in the game. And that's a pretty obvious mistake. In the game, he decides to extend out, but that's just the wrong direction. White should have definitely just pushed at G11. All these moves are pretty much forced. Now as we can see, if I can draw something, right, we can obviously see there's a lot going on here. And I'm not too sure what black's group is doing here, right? It's all facing a side that is very strong already. So yeah, if white actually push at G11, I don't think this game will last for too long. I think my position would be really, really bad if white pushed at G11. And I'm not too sure why he didn't. With his level of play, it's a very obvious move, right? You want to work on this side. So by attacking black, you're able to build a wall here, and all these are very hard to deal with. So that's quite obvious, at least to me, and obviously it should be obvious to him as well. But he just did not play that. I guess that's just sometimes we make mistakes, and then after the game, you check the game. You're like, wow, how could I not even? How could I have missed this, right? So um, So yeah, the benefit of this move, J14, is that he was able to come in at K16. That's a little bit profits, but it doesn't really compensate for black coming into this whole center. This turn made my group a lot safer. So now I Atari'd and white is forced to connect. Otherwise there's already problems here. You know, if my group get out, these guys are dead. So that cannot really happen. So that's a Sente. White connects, and I played J10. Wasn't too sure about this move. Then later on, I checked with AI. AI actually recommends this move. I'm very happy about it. My idea was that my idea was that the J10 move is always worth move, right? Like let's say you played this, even white just take your spot. This group is very awkward. If and this move is very annoying as well. Peeping at J10. I really want you to sort of learn from this move, because a lot of times my viewers would just be like, "Oh, let me cut," but then black is able to just push, and all your stones are facing your stones. That is like 2 space apart. This is over concentration. This is repetition. But if you just play this one, that's a different story now. Because if this happens, you can start attacking black. Using your wall. So now black's stones are facing this wall here. So that's pretty much the difference, right? So this is hard to deal with. If you play this one, white is gonna start playing here, building influence over here, and then don't forget there's still a cutting point here, right? So if the game plays out like this, black is going to be in trouble. So that's what I was thinking about, which is why I played another move in the center. It looks very slow, but it actually is a great move to make sure there's nothing going on here, and also my groove got a lot safer. So at this point, white honeys and I cut. That works tactically. And then when white connects, black is forced to extend at K18, right? If you don't play anything, this is going to happen, and then that's disastrous. All these are dead. So always make sure you check that you don't forget to fix something that has to be fixed right now. So I fixed it. So everything here is pretty much black's territory. And white plays f3. And then I decide to invade. But here, I should have just really invaded in a simpler way, right? By not hurting my corner here. So if white plays this one, I can just connect myself under. If you wedge, I can make a tiger's mouth here and connect everything. This will be a much better way to invade because I drag my group out and I still don't hurt my corner. So really I have a lot to learn in terms of how to invade and everything, but in the game I decide to play a second line invasion, which I talk a lot of times in my videos. White cuts off the connection. Very important for you to not play like this, right? Not only black secured more territory, but also white's territories vanished. But look at what white played. This is excellent because not only it cuts off connection, but also destroy the corner black has here, also putting attack onto S7. So that's an excellent move. Black jumps, and then white peeps, and then hop out. And here I pull the stone back, that's okay. And then I bump in. But really what I should have played is, as my reviewer Union has suggested, just pull the stone back. Here I made a terrible mistake, and this probably decided the game. If I played this one, my group is alive, and the game is still long, right? My dragon is still not alive. There could be insecurities, and all depends on how white's gonna use this wall. So let's say we play a couple moves out. This is just a equal game. Moving on. White gets this move, which is very important, and then black can either take more territory or get himself out from here. Those are all possible. That's just a game. Moving on. But instead, I played a terrible mistake, which is to Hane here. Here, what I should have played is just to hop out. This is also a great move. So the key here is to not sacrifice these three guys because they're quite big. But instead, I played this one, white wedges. Those are excellent moves. And then I sacrificed my three stones, and I didn't even think that this was a mistake. But it turns out it was a mistake, right? Because now white has 8 points over here, about 8 points. Yeah, so you can pretty much consider them as 8 points in here. But this shouldn't be 8 points. White is not supposed to have 8 points here. Look, if I just pulled my stone back like this, how did white get 8 points here? He did not have any points. In fact, black has a lot of points here, right? By playing like this. There's some points over here for black. So by playing what I played in the actual game, I really lost a lot of points, and that was the whole problem. Now black has like 2 points here, and white has more points here. So I lost about 10 points in this local area. But worst of all is that my group is still not alive. Even if I have an eye here, this, strictly speaking, does not really give me an eye, right? This is still not alive. So after all this exchange, I lost points, and I didn't give myself safety here. So that's horrible. That's a horrible result for black. And my judgment was very terrible here. And I don't even know what to say here. It was just a huge mistake by black. I hop out and then played a few more moves. And then here I decide to squeeze, making use of some of the weakness over here. White should have probably played a double tiger's mouth. And black is going to follow up with this move, and then like this. This is how it should play out. And then black get himself out. Yeah, I'm going to get myself out probably like this. But I mean, this is just a winning game for white, right? So maybe at this point I will forget about connection and then just hop in. But I mean, this is still could be a dangerous game. This is still a lost game for black overall. So, and the problem is that, you know, insecurity for both dragons. So instead, white played an interesting move, that is Atari on top. This tactically does not work because black can play this one. Now, if white tries to cut here, that's not gonna work at all, right? So if this happens, then I came back in the game and probably winning the game. So at this point, white is forced to go for a trade. The trade being white is gonna make a tiger's mouth here. And black cannot connect, right? If black connects, white is gonna get the group back. Even if you can get Atari here, this is still a tough game for black, because my dragon here is about to die, and it's very hard to enclose. It's very hard to enclose white here. I mean, even if I enclose, I'm not even sure if the Liberty fight is going to work. So in worst case, white can just hop here. And this is still very difficult. There's no way for me to capture the center. Anyway, that's a lot of tactical problems. In the game, I play the best move, that is connect. White is going to take, and then I have to connect. So what happened here is white got himself a lot of thickness here. In return, I capture myself a lot of territory. So, and now white plays g9. Very, very well played by my opponent. My group is in huge danger right now. So I have to live, which is why I played all these weird moves. Finally got myself an I shape here. And white encloses at j7. So this is overall a very, very tough game already. I really here want to just play this one. But the problem with this one is that it makes my 3-3 impossible to live after white have a8 and b8. It helps me to live, but also killed anything in the corner. So I didn't want to exchange this honey with moves here. I'm still looking at potentially later on I might have a clamp here. So I decided to go directly into the 3-3. That is okay. And then white decides to try to kill black first. And then I played in e13 because I was very afraid that my group is going to die here. Especially with all these thickness around me, it's very, very hard. But what I should have played is to actually play a k12. And I had absolutely no way to see this in the game without help of AI, because that's a lot of reading, especially when you have 30 seconds to play one move. It's very hard to see that this is the best move to play, because after this, if I just connect here, well, first of all, there's a half eye here, and if white takes, right, I have no eye here anymore. So I need to have two eyes in the center. Even if I can get something like this, right? This will get me two eyes. But check, when white plays e2, it's not going to live, because white got so much thicker here. I have no clamp anymore. This clamp was really important to help me live here. So if that happens, I was bound to lose, right? So I was like, why not just play it safe and make sure I live, and then keep the opportunity to play a11. But that was totally the wrong judgment, because after white plays e2, I realized there's no way to live in here. So I tried something with c6. Well, let's see why. First of all, so if I play the small knight, white is going to push and clamp, and then Atari here, and then take the vital point at b1, and there's no way for these guys to live. If you kick here at d12, at d2, white is gonna hop at b4. So this is also no way to live whatsoever, right? Even if white plays this one, there's absolutely no way black can live here. It's white everywhere. There's no two eyes. What else can you think of? If you play this one, white is going to play the b5. And also, there's no way to live. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you play. You're not going to live here. So I play the most confusing move. That is to play c6. And my opponent answered very correctly at b5. And then at this point, I don't see any ways to live. Here, I should probably have played this one, and my opponent's probably going to follow up with this one. So after this exchange, white has a little bit less points. I don't think it's going to matter. It's going to matter that much in terms of win or loss, but I might lose by a little bit less than in the game. So I didn't play that. I decided to immediately take m2. That's a very, very big move, obviously. And then my opponent played the Kosumi, and then we went for this. But here, this is my last chance to actually push at e9. If I play this one, white will follow up with this. If I keep pushing, white will eventually take the stone, and then this taking will threaten my life and death once again. So I can't do anything here. I have to immediately do something to make sure my dragon is alive. So basically, I can't really push too much here. But I think it's better than not pushing at all. So in the real game, white played e9 and then ensured himself everything here. And then I played an exchange and a wedge here. White can obviously not play this because I can just come in. So white decided to pull back, and then I connect, white seal everything. So the rest of it is all just endgames, and at this point, I'm just losing the game. There's not enough points. After a good count, you'll realize that on the board, I am leading probably by 2 points, 2 points probably. Yeah. And the Komi is 7.5, so there's no way for me to catch back. So in fact, I think at the end I was leading on the board by 3 points, but I lost by 4.5 because Komi was 7.5. So with some end games, I'll just quickly show you how it went. Pretty boring, to be honest. Yeah, we just play out everything. My dragon is completely alive, and yes, some quick end games. They're all about 1 or 2 points, so nothing is going to change the result of this game. So basically, in the end, I lost by 4.5. So overall, I think this game was a very high quality game. I think I played pretty well. Made a few mistakes, and then my opponent played just perfectly and gave me no chance after I made I guess my losing move. If you go back a little bit, my losing move, as I have talked about, is really the idea of connecting to this side. I should really have, even at this point, I should have just pulled my stone back here. But after this, the game is super difficult. After losing these 3 guys, the game is incredibly difficult. Here, white should have played just a simple way to win the game, but this move made the game really chaotic, and then at this point I really don't think I have a lot of I don't have any chances, even if white allows me to capture all these. So I check with Leela, and then it just tells me that this is my last losing move. That is play the Tiger's Mouth at E13. I think I was under time pressure and I couldn't read that much, right? I should have hopped at K12, but I was very worried that after this move, how I'm gonna make myself alive. But Leela really had these very nice moves to make myself alive. If white peeps here, I can kick to defend myself. Not to say that there is also a potential to make an eye here. So yeah, Leela was basically suggesting that at this point, so when I hop, when white plays this, given that basically given that this group is going to be fine, I should go ahead and bet on I should bet on the life and death of this group. Very, very interesting. So if my opponent goes for this kind of trade, this is not gonna this gain is not gonna compensate for this loss. So Leela basically told me, hey, why not go for a gamble, right? Like there's a lot of reading, you still have a chance. I should have played like that, but I was under time pressure. There was no way to really read all that, so I got very worried about my life and death, so I decided to play this. And then after this point, the game is pretty much over because everything here belongs to white now. So anyway, that was quite a long review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for watching. Talk to you guys next time.